Look at that, look how quick that was. Welcome to today's video. As of recording this Friday, TGIF, October 10th. One more day for a lot of the stores, Amazon, all doing their big sales, kind of the preview for Black Friday. What's to come. I think these are just gonna keep going, and I'll get into that. Also, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 6. Should you wait? Should you wait for the PlayStation 6? For me, I've been talking about getting the PlayStation 5. Almost went with an Xbox today. Things on Amazon just keep like changing. One of the things I always say about the sales, and 1 minute it's there, the next it's gone. The PlayStation 5, I'm predicting that there will be a decent bundle leading up to Black Friday as we get closer, or maybe Christmas. Or do you wait for the PlayStation 6? Like, what should I do? One of the stores I am keeping tally on is the Mega Media Exchange, the refurbished PlayStation 5s. When it comes, if that's the case, okay, just throwing this out there now. If I was to buy a refurb, I would choose a place like Mega Media Exchange or a retro collectible store over, dare I say, GameStop. Love it. Have a Mega Halloween. Kind of has a Grand Theft Auto 6 vibe to it, doesn't it? A little bit. Look at the 18. I always love Hannibal Smith. I love it when a plan comes together. So I stumbled across something today, and it kind of gave me an idea of how to start the video off, because just going back to yesterday, had pretty much the start was the Nintendo Switch 2. Is it still selling? It's making records, history. And then it leads to other things. We found Sega Genesis. We found a bunch of cool retro Sonic, retro Sega at Target, along with a bunch of toys. So head over to Target. Just want to throw that out there. Not sure if we're going to make it to Target, but just throwing it out there. And same thing today. This time I come across a little segment here of the PlayStation 6, something that I said, should I wait? Should I wait for this? And we're talking, it's a year and a half away from now. If that, probably the closest. 2027, around the holiday season. So it's not for a while. What will the PlayStation 6 do that the PlayStation 5 can't? That is an excellent question. And I think this goes pretty much for me. I don't think there's any chance that any normal person, like when they say normal, I just think, just a recreational player like myself is going to be able to tell the difference between a PlayStation 5 and 6 game. So that makes a lot of sense. So when I say, should I just wait for a 6? I don't know if it's going to be any different. Basically what they're saying is all Sony can really talk about is better ray tracing and better upscaling things that already make very little difference. Yeah, we saw a ton of Sega yesterday at Target. Look at the Game of Risk for Sega Genesis. Recently, I picked up NBA Live 95. There's NBA Live 96. Live 95, not only did it just sound so good together, that was my all-time, besides NBA Jam, that was my all-time favorite basketball game for the Super Nintendo. This time, I bought it for Sega. I don't think I ever played Streets of Rage, number 1. I played Streets of Rage 2, obviously, one of my favorite games of all time. A little bit of Streets of Rage 3, but I do have 4 for the Switch, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I've played it. I think Streets of Rage 2 is just so much more superior. Look at Lethal Enforcers. I did see a great deal on a Series X, and a great deal is $599, brand new, like the closest to the most previous price, and that sold out quick. And I saved it to my cart this morning, and somebody picked it up, and now Amazon kind of gives you like the best options available, but I am keeping my eye on the PlayStation 5s here. $349. We have the Slim all digital. There's no drive on here. So in the amount of like a week coming here, they have probably sold 2 or 3 of the PlayStation 5s, because I remember them having, there was one that had a box, and there was one that had a disc drive. So they are moving, which gives me confidence that if I was to pick one up here, it would work. And that's one of the things that they say is they totally check them out. So I prefer to buy new, but when we're talking deals, if there's nothing that's really gonna happen, I'm kind of waiting for, then I will come back here and just pick something up for like $369. Okay, now admit it. Anybody watching, have you actually picked up the soundtrack for Wedding Crashers? Be honest. Far reach, but what about Sleepless in Seattle? This one came out, you know, back in the 90s, being a big Suns fan, when the Phoenix Suns beat the Seattle Supersonics, 92-93, Western Conference Finals. This movie was out, and I always kind of joked, like, after the Suns beat the Sonics in Game 7, they were sleepless in Seattle. I am hopeful that there will be a bundle, a PlayStation 5 bundle. I was chatting back and forth today, one of the last videos, that a year ago, I picked up my OLED. So think about this for a second. A year ago, basically today, you know, maybe it was in November, I picked up my OLED. It was the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe digital download OLED bundle for, I think it was $274, picked it up at Target. That was the best deal. You know, it got me, who was all about home arcade, to buy the Switch. Then I get the Switch 2, and now I'm at the point where it was Xbox or PlayStation 5, and I have a feeling that we're going to see a PlayStation 5 bundle. I don't think we're going to see a PlayStation 5 Pro bundle, but like NBA 26, or there was another one that I just saw today, like Ghost. Might have some kind of a deal now. If it's just digital, you know, I want to, if I could add that drive on there, or I will come back and pick up a refurb. This comes up a lot about the Switch 2, is they don't have enough games. They don't have enough Switch 2 games, you know, to justify picking up a new system. My answer to that, and will always be, it's to play Mario Kart World. That's why I bought it. There's not a lot of Switch 2 games. There's a few, you know, Donkey Kong Bonanza, but pretty much every other thing else is available to play on the Switch. I went from 12 players online on Mario Kart 8 to 24. That is why I made the move. Like I just said, I bought a Switch OLED less than a year before I bought the Switch 2. And that was all because I wanted to play more, you know, have more options online. And that is what got me to spend what did I spend, $4.99? $4.49? I think it was $4.99. Bought the bundle, the digital download. Same thing's gonna go for the PlayStation 6. So we can say, hey, it's gonna come out, you know, December 2027. But what games are gonna happen? I mean, it could take years. I mean, they still made PlayStation 4 games. Look at Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. We talk about it just about every week. That was a PlayStation 4. And they literally, what was that, 4 or 5 months, 6 months ago? It's gonna take a long time to get just dedicated PlayStation 6 games. So for me to say, okay, I'm gonna wait to get like the iPhone. Like for me, I'm not gonna go and get an iPhone 16. I would get the iPhone 17, because it's not like there's gonna be anything, you know, that we need for that. On a PlayStation 6, I mean, what's the rush in getting that for the games, especially if I wouldn't really be able to tell the difference. So for me, I think, you know, PlayStation 5 is worth, you know, watching now, instead of waiting a year and a half for a system that has absolutely no newer games than PlayStation 5. Looking at the PlayStation controllers over the years, this really leads, you know, finishes off here at PlayStation 5. I wonder what the 6 will look like how much different, you know, when you're comparing the 4 to the 5. I mean, it might, you know, for that reason, you know, there might be something completely beneficial on that. But yeah, for me, I think I'm just better off finding a great deal on the 5, a console that's already 5 years old, and they have finally just like made dedicated games with PlayStation 5 on there now. I don't even know, are they still making PlayStation 4 games? Is it all 5? By the way, if you're watching on Saturday the 11th, you can still take advantage of the 50% off of Hobby Lobby. This is a different Hobby Lobby than we were at earlier in the week. This is way on the other side of town, so just seeing if there's anything really different. But from everything I'm seeing, is exactly the same as the previous store. But you know, all Hobby Lobbies are different. Some of them might have, you know, one thing that that another one doesn't. I went on my Amazon app today and they had a Series X for $599, and you know, just for a second I thought about it. And I mean, there would have been no difference if I would have bought that 3 weeks ago. That would have been $599. Now it's $649. But you know, now there was, I think, one left. Somebody bought it, and you go into like buying options here, and yeah, we're at refurb, we're at just digital, so they are moving quick. If you see one priced at the you know, the old norm versus the new norm, grab it, because then the prices just get crazy again. But I did see a few Series S. That Series S wasn't for me. I made the mistake of buying it for like $314 because I thought, you know, it was all about the price when I should have just went for the X. But if you see something, it's going to be the cheapest on Amazon. And again, prices change and they don't last long. The At Games Micro Pinball is still sitting at $325. They are doing a continuation sale that ends the 13th. So you have all weekend to kind of thought process, should I pick this up? That includes the shipping, $325. It's an amazing deal. Also, there's a new Mortal Kombat line from McFarlane. So, you know, eventually, yes, they will probably lose the DC, who knows, or cut back from doing a lot of DC, but they are available for pre-order, Mortal Kombat. And looks like Walmart will be the store. So this is pretty cool. I saw this one. I'm like, that is awesome. You can swap the heads. I saw some Mortal Kombat figures at GameStop, but this is totally different. Also, I said I was done with Batman the Animated Series. There is, okay, we'll just go through a few here. There's Batgirl. There's Red Tornado, Blackfire. That was Stormfire. You know what? That must be her sister. And then Man-Bat. So the first, was it episode 1, Batman the Animated Series, that Man-Bat was the first on the, you know, the pilot episode, if you will. So he is available right now. So if I stumble across him, probably be you know, the $40 price point, like Clayface, maybe even higher now. Might jump at that. So a lot of nostalgia. It's not so much the figure, it's that artwork. You know, that's going to be the back of the box. If I come across him, that might be a huge impulse buy. A lot of memories just seeing that render right here. A lot of stuff. And you wonder, you know, with all the emails you get from McFarlane about the, you know, the DC multiverse, eventually it's going to stop. And you know, we're in October. How many more will they have? This might be the only time that two different Game Boy products will be available at the same time, with the Game Boy Lego, and then of course the heat-changing coffee mug. So just kind of throwing it out there. You know, we always point out anything retro we can. These are still around. It's almost like we time traveled. Where are we going, West? It's Friday night.
Westy, we gonna get a burger?
West.
We gonna get a burger?
Kelly managed to pick the busiest Culver's in the state of Wisconsin tonight.
It's because the Curder Burger is back.
Curd Crown is back in town. Let's both get it.
No. And I'll make the basket. Can I get cheese curds? And then a Coke Zero with no ice.
All right.
And then a plain single burger, no cheese.
Okay.
And then
The curd burger.
the curd burger. I'll make it a...
They got rid of Mellow Yellow at McDonald's, West, but they still have it.
No, that's it.
They still have it at Culver's. It almost went in my mouth.
It'll be $30 at the window.
Look at Wes during the day. Also, Kohl's, we kind of talked briefly about continuing sales through the weekend. Kohl's is back with another, I think, 9 days of Kohl's cash. So from one sale goes to another. With the biggest Kit Kat I've ever seen. I am wondering if there's any arcade one-ups here. This might be a little early, but they do have a lot of Christmas stuff out. And if there was any, gosh, it's been almost a year since we were on a arcade one-up hunt at Kohl's. Might be early. I don't know if I've seen this one. Maybe at the Lego store. I can't remember offhand, but get the entire Xavier Academy. Everything here is included. Look at the Sentinel. Doesn't look like we will see any countercates. Maybe not this early, but look, we're not at Halloween yet, and all Christmas toys out. Basic Fun would have been a good idea. Any of them, any of the Basic Fun, this would have been a perfect spot. Just kind of popped in my head, like I'm always on the arcade one up, but we got a new player in town, don't we? I got a text from my buddy Moat giving me a heads up on a deal on, hear me out here, a refurbished PlayStation 5 Pro. Despite what I said when we were standing in front of the Mega Media Exchange, that I didn't want to go to this store, and that's who has the deal right now. This is crazy. So here's a couple of deals going on at GameStop. So here's the refurb. Down from, so now again, this is refurb, so $6.99, so it's going to be $50 cheaper than the brand new, and it's actually $64.99 for pros. Also, for the PlayStation 5 console, just itself, for $69.99 to $446.49. Going through some of the images of the Pro, I don't know if you get the box. So I mean, if it's everything we're seeing, I think that's, I would like to get the box, to be honest with you. If you're going to pay close to $700, I mean, we're talking the Pro. In my head, I'm thinking, we just saw one for $369, but it's the Pro. And a lot of people have said you don't need the Pro. Others have said get the Pro. It's kind of, it's a tough decision, but I am going to think about this. I said I didn't want to go through GameStop, but all in all, I don't think there's going to be a deal on a Pro come Black Friday, but this might be the cheapest. Like if I decide to get a Pro, just throwing it out there, I can go to GameStop right now, $664.99. So I want to give a big thanks to Moat for letting me know about this. Yeah, I'm gonna think it over. That's gonna do it for today. Am I gonna wait for PlayStation 6? No, I'm gonna get a PlayStation 5. I just don't know if I'm gonna get a PlayStation 5 Pro or a refurbished or a brand new one or a bundle. So that is to be determined. I want to thank everybody for watching. Had to stop the music. I walked right into the music. Have a great weekend. See you guys next time. I did want to end with one arcade one up at Milwaukee PC. So they do have, there is one close to that Kohl's. Gentleman just closed up. So found one at least. See if Kohl's gets any. It's always a treat. Little ending for the retro gamers.